everybody from a lovely summer, and I thought I might attempt to call the meeting to order. Thank you very much. So, thank you very much everyone for attending. I'd like to say how beautiful it is to walk in the campus looking so beautiful with such gorgeous weather, and I know it hasn't been a summer of rest for everybody, but I want to say thank you those who both in the administration of the various schools and on the school committees who have given time over their summer to the various tasks at hand, so thank you very much.
We've all enjoyed it. It's been great.
The members have been very vocal about having it.
Can't we do it more?
Brilliant. Okay, so
first item is community comments, which we have none.
okay, moving on. So turn over to my Steve friend to talk about.
Are we starting with that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes. All right. Hello, everybody. We wanted to spend about 20 minutes or so updating everyone on the superintendent search, the intended program for this upcoming year. And we thought the best person to fill everybody in on that process would be the person who's going to help us manage the process himself, Tony Bent, who works with NASDAQ, who I believe most of you either met as school committee members last year or as members of the concerned community who will come to our meetings, which is great. So Tony is himself a retired superintendent many times over. I think, like Bill, there is nothing he hasn't seen in this job. He has mentored a number of very strong superintendents himself, and acts as mentors to other current sitting superintendents. So I think we have a great teammate in this process. So I thought I would turn it right over to Tony.
Yes, thank you, Dan. One thing I should say too that I'm encouraged by is that because you had a process last year and didn't appoint it for a permanent successor, that many superintendents know about this job opening coming up. So that in the course of the past year and over the summer at MASS and our Summer Institute, I've had multiple conversations with people who are interested in Dover-Sherborn. So I think that's a good sign. I have myself, because I have a substantial network, that's been my profile as a superintendent. I really enjoyed working with others and being involved in the association. I've reached out as well. So I think that you'll have a different experience than what you had before, so I'm pleased with that. The other piece that's interesting as a side piece is that I happen to be teaching what we call assistant superintendent leadership seminars, and I have two groups, actually three groups, a first year, a second year, and a third year of assistant superintendents who gather with me monthly for leadership discussions. And there's a total of about 60 assistant superintendents. So you can imagine that I'm well aware of what I'm doing, in addition to teaching them a little bit and working with them a bit around leadership. So that too is, I think, it's something that could bear some fruit, maybe unanticipated from them, not from me. Okay, so with that, let me pass out these packets, and we'll go over those very, very quickly. There's a lot of this is baseline information the office prepared for you, and I think, as Dana said, there'll be changes, but this is the first step for us, and go over a couple of the pieces with you.
Three more.
You're such a
Amy, do you want? Yeah. All right.
Probably the first thing that you should look at is the timeline. And this is the one that has, dates about when different parts of the process will kick in. And as you've already heard, this is the piece that will evolve a little bit. I will meet with your team that's working with me more directly around this search, around this, and I think this is an opportunity for everybody to look at these documents and maybe feed to you and the other members of the team. This is identified, everybody knows who they are.
Yes.
So please do that. But this gets you through the various searches, of portions of the search. One of them specifically mentioned that because this is the second time, we're making the assumption that you don't need another community needs assessment. You've done that. And the candidate profile is already established for you as well. You will make a decision about whether you want to tweak the candidate profile at all, given the fact that you've had 2 years.
Yep.
But I think fundamentally, it's probably in large measure going to remain close to what it is. And then we already know you are ahead in the sense that you have a team established to work directly with me. And then we go through the various steps about the screening committee. I think you've got some ideas about your screening committee and how that'll form, and maybe more quickly than last year, perhaps.
Right.
So you'll do that. And then once we have the screening committee established, I'll be happy to meet with them. And this, depending upon how many new members there are in the screening committee, we'll have 1 or 2 dates to orient the committee and talk about what we can and cannot do together, how much of it is confidential, and how we go into executive session and when we can, those kinds of things. And then also begin to determine which candidates you would like to bring in for an interview. And that's the only part of the process that, that remains confidential. So the open meeting law allows for a subcommittee of the school committee, not a quorum of the school committee, to have an interview offline in confidence so that people initially can apply without having their name be public if there are whatever number of applicants who are being interviewed. But there's one shot, and it's only with a subset of the school committee, not a quorum of the school committee. And then once the school committee receives the candidates, I think you already noticed, everything that the school committee does is in public. If you did not have a subset screening committee established, and you decided to do the process yourself, every bit of it would be in public. So it makes sense on a variety of levels for you to have that opportunity to have one conversation with prospective candidates. And then it goes through the rest of it, leading to the appointment. And then during that period of time, that's when I will be helping you in terms of conversations with the candidates, making sure that that everybody understands what the salary parameters are, and also if a position is offered that in fact they will accept. All those kinds of things are set up in advance. And we'll do that. The other pieces of the packet in particular that you should pay attention to from the perspective of feedback to your my own disappear? It just doesn't look like mine.
Oh, someone's got Tony's with the notes in it.
Wow. Did I give mine away in the process? Or did Danny give mine away in the process? Probably. It has red pen on it.
I'm not giving it back to you.
You guys go electronic. I have it. Okay.
All right, there we go.
You can look at the executive opportunity, the piece that's listed as executive opportunity. This will need a little bit of tweaking. And this is the letter, or this is the ad that will go into a couple of periodicals. Assuming that you want to do that again, I would recommend that. There are like 3 that would be cost to you. This process, I think, for those of you who are new, this process is without charge to the district because we did the process with you last year and you weren't able to appoint. The only cost you have would be for the advertising, which is in relative terms small dollars. It's $1,200 for the 3 pieces that we do, which we recommend so that you can really get the word out there nationally. So this would be the ad. It does refer to last year's dates. It does refer to Boston Magazine, which I have, and it still refers to Dover-Sherborn and top ranked high school in the state. So that would be something you would look at. The letter also that starts off with Dear Fellow Educator. NESDEC uses its substantial network to blast this throughout multiple states, particularly in the Northeast, but also beyond, just to make sure that everybody knows about the position. So this is the letter that goes out with that. You don't have the candidate profile
It's in their packet.
It's in their school committee
In their
packet?
school
Okay, good. So this is something that you all should look at as well and give feedback to your team, your leadership team on. It was designed, a while ago, before Bill actually started working, and much of it should remain the same, I suspect, but there may be some tweaks that we would want to offer as well. Let's see what else. There's information about the fee-based advertising, and what kind this is and where it goes. Okay, and some of it is, I think, less necessary because you've been through this before last year with another composition of the screening committee process. And I think you've already had some ideas about how you want to do that this year. So that's great. And that's about it in terms of the documentation that you have. I think the timeline is a little aggressive, and it made some assumptions, but I think we'll push as we go. I think timing is always important. I think I should tell you that as a superintendent, on the one hand, as somebody who's been around this process and around superintendent searches, that on the one hand, this is the most desirable place to work. And I feel really good about your prospects about getting a good pool for this. At the same time, not everybody wants to be a superintendent of schools. And among those 60, can you imagine, John? Among those 60 assistant superintendents that I'm working with, several have told me, I like being the assistant superintendent. The good stuff goes to me and the bad stuff goes to the superintendent. So I'm liking my job. So the pools, I have to confess, the pools tend to be a little bit smaller than they used to be 25 years ago. The demands are greater. And that goes right throughout the system because the demands on teachers are greater as well. There's much more accountability in the system than there was. I look forward to launching it with you, and I look forward to having all of those wonderful conversations with colleagues of mine, superintendent colleagues of mine, one of whom said to me, you need to talk to me again. I want you to keep enticing me. And I thought that was a good thing because I'm going to do that. And he's a very strong person if he comes forward. Yes, sir.
Who's our competition this year?
We may not know it all at this point. What I do know from my direct involvement is that Groton Dunstable is looking, and Groton Dunstable is a similar community in many ways, regional school district, one school committee, although not three, and high achieving is on this list for Groton Dunstable High School as well, in terms of the highest performing high schools in the state. Concord Carlisle will be going out. They've got a more extended timeline than you have. And both Concord Carlisle and Dover-Sherborn might overlap in terms of the pool. Similar kinds of candidates, I suspect. Framingham is going to go out as well. Different, but proximity and the geographical piece is there. And it's a very interesting district. And it has an attraction as well. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if there was some overlap of interest in those two districts. Those are the ones that I know about, and quite frankly, I don't think we know them all yet. Sometimes they will break.
Concord Carlisle has posted their job, and they're reviewing applications January 1st.
That's right. So I'm not sure why they're doing that, but that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And is Greenwich, Connecticut going
I
on?
don't know about Greenwich. I can find out, though. I'll certainly know more about that.
Tony, our next question.
Sure.
What can you do, or do you think you'll do differently, or in addition, over and top of what happened last time? And you talked very reassuringly about your network and people. I imagine that was partly access. That was access last time, but I see the value of time and second time around, and perhaps the value of us sticking to our guns and hoping for the candidate we want for. That has a value. But from what NESDEC does, is there anything different or additional that you think, okay, this is what we do now?
Sure. I think by and large it's going to remain pretty close to what we did last time. I think what is different, frankly, is the environment has changed. The environment around Dover-Sherborn has changed. Because now we've had a significant amount of time where people who have been thinking or were projecting that they might be interested in a year or two about a superintendency have known about Dover-Sherborn. And my sense is the conversations that I've already had feel different from the conversations that I had before Bill came on board. There's just that much more interest. So I'm looking forward to, I think my greatest contribution to you is going to be in that area of reaching out to the colleagues that I know. I chair a group of superintendents called Global Studies 21st Century Skills. There are about 25 superintendents who meet with me every month. And because I was president of my state association a few years ago, again, my network is broad, so it's different. I can feel there's more of a spotlight, more interest on Dover-Sherborn this year, and I think that's going to prompt me in terms of more conversations that I had last time.
Good.
That's what I think.
Thank you.
Any other questions? So your homework, it would be to go through the 3 documents that two of the 3 are in the paper packet, and all 3 were in the actual school committee packet. The candidate profile, the ad posting, and the letter to educators. And if you can, by next Monday, the 19th, get any comments that you have to either to Brooke if you're on Dover, to Ann if you're on Sherborn, or to Michael or me on the region. So if we can have your thoughts, yeah?
Just really quickly, we did not edit it to the dates. We know we're wrong.
Yes.
You know, that's fine.
Yeah, if this whole
Tell us about
17
that.
budget needs to be, number needs to be
Those
put in
numbers
there,
are-
yeah.
Right, so we know, we're not looking for the comments on that, we know that.
Right, and preferably we're not looking for a full rewrite, because I think collectively spent a lot of people hours putting putting this together last year. But if there is something that really screams at you that should be changed, or based on our experience with Bill, should be incorporated this time around, let's make sure that those value-added comments get in there
By next Monday.
by next Monday, please. Because we're going to meet with Tony, you don't know this yet, next Tuesday, and hopefully tweak the timeline and be ready to go out as soon as possible. So the last thing I ask is, would it be, may I ask for a motion that we can cover the posting costs across the 3 school committees? Because I don't know if we
We haven't
allocated any money.
It's approximately $1,200.
$1,204 approximately, yeah.
Don't we have school committee budgets?
But you want a motion, right? I would, yes? Do you? I guess it's up to you.
Well, we haven't had this
We have budget.
Oh, it
So in the
just goes
past,
under
we
school committee?
had a bill, like,
Okay.
here's $15,000 for the search, or...
You can authorize spending on that if you like. I'm not sure I see any need for
Okay.
a vote.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
There's an expectation that there's a cost, and
Perfect.
the money will be there somehow.
$1,204.
Yes.
All right. Any other questions of Tony while we have him?
Great.
That was well, we're very efficient this year.
We've had practice.
Okay.
Thank you, Tony.
Okay, sure.
Thank you, and
Look
thank
forward to working with everybody.
Thank you, Dana.
Should be exciting, should be fun.
And thank you very
Okay.
much to Dana for continuing to lead this charge.
And the whole
Thank you.
team. All right, thanks.
All right. Talk to you soon. Thanks,
Bye, folks.
Right,
Thank you.
so I'd like to draw everyone's attention to the consent agenda, please, and the approval of minutes of June the 15th and June the 21st. I have the 21st. Everyone has both of those? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So, any questions or comments on the consent agenda?
At the region, I will invite a motion to approve the June 1st and June 21st minutes.
So,
Want to have a second?
Second.
Those in favor? Michael, you voted? Thank you.
Pine Hill, same motion.
So,
Awesome. Second? Those in favor?
Dover School Committee, the same motion. Anyone making a motion? Thank you, Brooke. Second? Thank you, Lauren. All those in favour? Unanimous. Perfect. Thank you, everyone. So we now are going to poll to move into executive session.
Is there an opportunity to discuss a future agenda item?
Usually go through your
Usually
chair.
go through your chair.
It would apply to the.
For the
all
joint?
three?
So all three go to?
It's generally, it goes through, in general, you go through your chair.
Right.
He's
right.
aware.
For the joint, I thought you were talking about our committee, in terms of the agenda item that we talked about for our meetings. I didn't realize you were talking about the joint. So,
We just don't have another joint meeting scheduled for a while, so,
but any vote that would be taken, just take 2 minutes and tell,
okay.
yeah, just take 2 minutes.
Absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely.
I just wanted, we don't have another joint committee meeting until after the November vote, but I wanted to bring up the issue of the ballot question 2, which is going to be on the November ballot because it's related to school funding. And it would be to create 12 new charters every year in Massachusetts and would use public school funds with no accountability to the town. And the Mass Association of School Committees opposes that question. And they say that one of the responsibilities of school committees is to advocate for public school funding. So right now we're losing $450 million to charters across the state, and if this passes, it would be, in 10 years, we would be losing $1 billion to charters. So 100 school committees and city councils across the state have passed resolutions to vote no on 2. So I thought it would be something that the individual school committees, because we don't meet again as a joint before that November vote. So something that individual school committees might want to look into and research.
But would the school committees then make a recommendation?
Well,
Like,
what's happening
have
is
a stance on how
school
they would
committees are
feel?
passing resolutions
Okay.
to vote no. So,
So if anyone's on listserv, they've seen such and such school committee has passed a resolution in opposition to ballot question.
so I just wanted to raise awareness around that question.
When the funding goes, the cost of educating our kid goes too, correct?
Well, not necessarily, I mean, I actually, not,
Oh,
without
I
giving
think-
an opinion on
I
it,
think you
it's not
realistic.
not necessarily, because if you're talking like fixed building costs, it's not
Right.
one-to-one. So, separate of how I feel about it, I'm just saying it's not a one-to-one exact, it's not like,
Correct, but
it's not like when a kid goes to
average.
private school, the cost to Dover-Sherborn suddenly goes down $17,000, because you still have the building, you still have the teachers, et cetera.
Well, and there is a formula to how much of that over a period of time.
Jen, that's November vote.
Yes, it's ballot question 2.
Okay, thank you. Dover meets next week.
So Greg will
So-
talk about it tomorrow, in theory, in budget.
So the thing we need to be mindful of, Bill, is about a ballot question.
no,
So I just,
totally.
So school committees can't talk about ballot questions? School committees can't take a position on ballot questions?
But we just can't use resources to promote whatever it is we...
You cannot use school resources to advocate for a position.
The campaign.
I'm sorry, it's probably because I don't hear very well. You said school committees can or cannot take a position?
They can absolutely
can,
take a
okay.
position, yes.
Okay.
thank you, Jen, thank you. Any other items? Okay. So we're going to poll to go into executive session.
Regional School Committee, Dana?
Yes.
Michael?
Yep.
Richard?
Yes.
Carolyn?
Yep.
Claire? Laura?
Yes.
Nick, Laura, Amy will be staying to take the
Okay.
I'm not somebody else.
Oh, no.
Sherborn School Committee, hold to go into executive session. Everyone is in favor of that.
And Dover, sorry.
Yes.
Yes. Super.
Does the junior school committee poll as well?
They're the ones making all the real decisions.
So we're all set. So we just need to wait a minute till the camera's off.
That's all.
Um,